Charlie Kirk's assassin left text messages that were so detailed, they pretty much make the prosecution's case for them. But are they too detailed to be believable? And hi, welcome to another episode of At Least You Heard It Here. I'm your host, Alyse Adamson. And today's topic is the evidence in the Charlie Kirk murder case. So, Tyler Robinson is the 22-year-old who has now been officially charged with Charlie Kirk's assassination. One of those charges is aggravated murder, and the Utah DA has indicated that they're seeking to file for the death penalty. So this is a capital case. Now, usually at this point, we would be questioning, when is this case going to go to trial? But in this case, there is a mountain of evidence against Tyler Robinson. Let me be clear. In my 7.5 years of prosecuting, have probably never seen a tighter case than this. We have physical evidence up the wazoo, DNA evidence all over the murder weapon. We have the surveillance footage of Robinson both before and after the assassination. We have electronic evidence in the form of these messages, which is what I want to focus on here today. And of course, the confession that Tyler Robinson allegedly made to his parents. Now, a quick note before we dive into this. While Robinson has been formally charged with Charlie Kirk's murder, he is still legally presumed innocent. All of the evidence and the allegations against him are just that. They're still allegations. And although the case is, I would say, pretty much airtight at this point, he's still not received a trial or pled guilty. The government bears the burden of proving him guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, and that will either happen or Robinson will ultimately take a plea. It's too early to really understand which way he's going to go. But the centerpiece of the evidence against Robinson are these messages that he sent to what is being described as his roommate, but we all know is his romantic partner on Discord. And apparently, he sent these messages very soon after committing the murder. Now, I got to tell you folks, and I'm going to read some of these messages in a moment. I have never seen any messages like this, okay? And I've gone through hundreds, if not thousands, of text strings in building cases. You will have sometimes a defendant admitting to a crime, especially if they're trying to obstruct justice by concealing their crime afterwards, telling someone, hey, yo, I did this, throw the gun away, or do this, or do that. I've seen that before. What I have never seen is long narrative expositions about the motive and means of the actual crime. I mean, this guy tells his partner not only that he did it, but about why he did it, where the murder weapon is. He describes the murder weapon and the bullets in very specific detail just to say, no, it's really me. Like I know what I'm talking about. Lingering at the scene, all of this stuff that makes you go, I mean, he really kind of ties the case together with a neat little bow. I would call this a prosecutor's dream. Because, I'll be clear, like the police did a good job running a swift investigation when they were looking for the suspect. They pulled that surveillance footage. They were able to track all of his movements around campus. They made the decision to release the surveillance footage to the public, which is sometimes frowned upon during an ongoing investigation. But that generated the lead that allowed his parents to recognize him and ultimately the outcome of Robinson turning himself in. So law enforcement has a huge hand in the outcome, but it was Robinson himself who has pretty much developed all of the evidence of the case by being extraordinarily sloppy, by leaving DNA, by being caught on camera, but then also by these text messages. I mean, come on. I just want to read this. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I also want to be clear. All right. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I do believe that most of the time, the truth is really just as boring as it seems. There's usually no dark forces behind anything, people pulling levers in the background. Some people disagree with me, but from what I've seen, from like peeling the curtain back in the government, a lot of times there are coincidences and things are just as straightforward as they appear. I'm not saying everything is. I'm not saying conspiracies don't exist. I'm not saying that. I mean, we have the entire Epstein debacle where clearly there is a lot more to that than we were ever told. So sometimes, but not all the time. So I just want to be clear, I don't advance conspiracy theories. However, what I will say is that these messages are odd. And the way they are written is odd. The syntax is odd. Okay. So, for example, uh, his partner has just told him he's committed this heinous assassination that is, news around the world. And the only thing the partner says is why. And then Robin says, "Why did I do it?" Partner says, "Yeah." And then here comes Robinson with the motive. "I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out." I mean, prosecutors aren't required to prove motive, although it is extremely helpful. It's right there for you. It's right there for you. Then, completely unprompted, Robinson writes, "If I'm able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence. Going to attempt to retrieve it again. Hopefully they have moved on. I haven't seen anything about them finding it." Then the roommate asks, "How long have you been planning this?" Okay, so now the roommate is asking a question that is going to allow Robinson to admit to premeditation, which again is essential to prove like how well planned this was. We need all of this for aggravated murder. Robinson says, "A bit over a week, I believe. I can get close to it." Now he's talking. Okay, so he says a bit over a week, I believe. He admits he's been planning this for some time. Then he starts, unprompted, talking about the firearm, the murder weapon again. "I can get close to it, but there is a squad car parked right by it. I think they already swept the spot, but I don't want to chance it." Squad car. Like who calls it that? Then he says he keeps going. No questions from his partner at all. He just keeps going in this narrative, in full sentences, by the way. "I'm wishing I had circled back and grabbed it as soon as I got to my vehicle," ellipses, which are the ... Once again, I can tell you this is just a very small sample size. This is just my personal experience, but I've never, ever seen anybody refer to their car as a vehicle. That is something I hear law enforcement write. You don't hear 22-year-olds talking about their vehicles. Then, as he continues on all of this completely unprompted, he's still talking about the gun. And then he's like, "Remember how I was engraving bullets?" So he's like, "Hey, remember I did this thing in front of you?" Again, things that are tying me directly to the crime. The messages are mostly a big meme. So he's also explaining to America what those things meant, because when they first came out, nobody knew what this meant. It's actually like chronically online culture. All of it is meme culture. People were trying to find, like, is it left? Is it right? It's online culture. Now, again, his family said that he was radicalized by leftist ideology. That is completely separate than what was written on the bullets, which is meme online gamer culture. So then he says, "If I see notices bulge UWU, which is pronounced uwu, on Fox News, I might have a stroke." So interesting that he gets his own evidence wrong, because he didn't write UWU. He engraved OWO, which is OWO, which is a furries meme. And actually, there's a difference between uwu and owo. I have been doing a deep dive into meme culture. I'm going to do an entire episode on it. This has fascinated me and brought me into the dark side of the internet that I didn't need to know, but now I kind of need to know. So he got his own engraving wrong. Weird for how detail-oriented he is in all of this. And then he keeps talking about grandpa's gun. Then here's another one. Since Trump got into office, my dad has been pretty diehard MAGA. Like, why are you including that? Like, now you're including that your ideology is different. It just seems like it's weird. It's like weird details to be adding into these messages that you are writing. You must be writing it right near the murder scene, because you say you're looking at a squad car. And also, where are you hiding that you can see the police, but they can't see you? It's weird, folks. It's weird. It just doesn't it doesn't ring true. And the problem is now it is birthed all of these conspiracies from both what people would call the left and the right. Like, so many people have questions about how these messages were written that they're not buying it. Like, if you want to find a bipartisan issue, this is one of them. And now TikTok is having a field day. Just listen to this.
Hello, my love. You have no doubt heard of the shooting, and I must admit, 'twas I. I had hoped to keep the secret to the grave, but alas, I have not lasted the better part of an hour. Why have I committed this act? 'Twas the hate of the man. Reason had no purchase in the poor soil of his soul. You have not asked, but in case you were wondering where I hid the rifle, my love, 'twas over yonder by that lingering squad car. My old man shall surely be missing it presently. Do you remember how I was engraving bullets the other day in front of you? Well, it was just to do a big meme.
So I don't want to make light of this. You know, the fact that these videos are now proliferating, TikTok getting hundreds of thousands of views, people are laughing. There's no laughing matter. This was a heinous crime. But just the absurdity of these messages have kind of led to conspiracy theories and now kind of jokes and memes on their own. And I think we're right to have questions. You know, I think it is possible that maybe this kid is spectrum-y and this is how he writes. The way that you reassure the public that your investigation is on the up and up is release his other Discord chats. If this is his syntax, all of his chats will look like this. He'll write in narrative form. He'll use proper punctuation. He'll use larger words instead of abbreviations. Like, just show us more. I mean, this is supposed to be the era of transparency. And I'm just saying, this is weird. You know, he even establishes the obstruction because later he says, delete these. Like, come on. You're going to have to give us something. Like, just throw us a bone so we can move on. But if they're able to do this, and this is Tyler Robinson, again, I'm saying for the record, I think it probably is. It's just super, super weird. This case is going to go down in history for so many reasons. But this evidentiary goldmine is going to be one of them. I mean, I just said on a different pod, you can almost essentially just introduce this Discord chat into evidence and just rest on it. Like, here you go. Here's all of it. And I'm saying that tongue in cheek because obviously you need a lot more, but sort of like, how is he even going to go to trial with this? It's nuts. I think it's crazy. That's my opinion. And this is my opinion for someone who's been in criminal law for like 15 years. So I want to hear what you think though. Go ahead, drop me a comment. Tell me what you thought when you first read these. Are these on the up and up? Does it sound like a Hollywood script? Sounds kind of like what a bad law enforcement consultant would have written on. And this is the other thing I just want to opine on for a sec. Like, and this is the other side why it wouldn't be a conspiracy. Like, they're so unbelievable that, like, why would somebody try to put this out as Robinson's writing? Like, if the FBI, this is the theory, like if the FBI was really just trying to like shore up their case by writing these, why write it like this? Like, the FBI knows how young people write. Why not like inject some Gen Z slang in there, like chat or aura points or whatever they say, or get some gamer culture? Like, why write it like a 40-year-old law enforcement officer? So it's like so unbelievable that it kind of has to be true. Like, that's where I've arrived, but I want to know where you've arrived. So drop me a comment. Go ahead and click like, subscribe, and as always, make sure you tell folks that Alyse heard it here.